Bhagavad Gita says, one who performs his duties without attachment, surrendering results to the Supreme, is untouched by sin. Just like a lotus leaf is untouched by water. This is literally followed by Sri K.K. Mohammed ji. Hence, he was able to face the challenges at Chambal Valley. Let us note the details of Chambal Valley from the man himself. The stage is all yours, Sri K.K. Mohammed ji.
It is indeed a pleasant pleasure and privilege for me to be here in this august gathering, and that too under the canopy of Vivekananda Vyaktitva Vikasana Kendra. Very surprisingly, I was attracted to the philosophy of Vivekananda ji in 1969 when I was a student in the school. One of my teachers, his name is Shashidharan Master, he spoke to us about the great speech which he had made in the Chicago religious conference. And since that moment, I have been a votary of Swamiji. So because of many influences, and this was one of the main influences, I was attracted to history and later on to archaeology also. So here what I am going to present is, it is the conservation and preservation of the monuments of Bateshwar. What is Bateshwar? Bateshwar, where is Bateshwar? Bateshwar is in Chambal Valley. What is Chambal Valley infamous for? That is for the dreaded dacoits. It was my Satyamangalam forest. And I had to encounter so many dacoits also during that period. And how could I change their mindset and get their permission for the conservation of the monument? That is what I am going to speak. But there is another part of the subject, that is about the excavation and exploration of Ram Janam Bhoomi also, because I started my excavation experience from Ayodhya under the great Professor Viveka. So that would be the second part of it. So when Krishnamurti ji and Srivat ji invited me for this talk, I told them that there is one thing, that I will not be speaking as a member of the BJP, I will not be speaking as a member of the RSS, I will be speaking the truth. Whether they like it or not, I am least bothered. I just wanted to speak the truth, and if it goes against them, I am sorry. I will speak the truth. So they accepted this condition, and it is on this condition I am here now. So I will be criticizing both of them. Because they have not done good to archaeological survey of India. Rather, I would use the word that they have been ungrateful to archaeological survey of India during the last 9 years. So you will see it by yourself. So let me take you to. No, this is not. There is another. Yeah. You can take it from there. Next slide. You can start from the third slide. Thanks. This is, when you say this one, Chambal forest, they are not like the Satyamangalam forest. Here you have got huge dunes and dunes, a maze of dunes are there. And these dunes have got its own pathways also. And these pathways are known to only either the local people or the dacoits. So even if you depute a police force they would be trapped, they would be killed. That is how the story goes. And it had some of the dreaded dacoits. Next, please. Look at this man, the biggest dacoit of the area. Once upon a time, he was shot dead in 1955. He is Mansi. He had killed 1,112 people. Our Veerapan had killed only 180. And this man has got, it's not this one, robberies he had done. And he had killed 185 murders he has committed. And that too, 32 police people. That was his record. So you have to deal with this kind of people. So Bateshwar is a group of temples. This had 200 temples. In a huge earthquake, the entire temple town had come tumbling down like a pack of cards without sparing anybody to speak about the harrowing details of the story, the whole thing. So when I went to the site, after taking the permission of all the dacoits groups, I saw it in a very sad state of condition. So this was the first person. Next, please. This is Mohar Singh. Mohar Singh killed only 85 people. Not much. 85 people. And he was alive when I was working. And then later on, during COVID 2 years back, 2-3 years back, he passed away also. He wrote a letter to the Honorable Prime Minister that the Bateshwar temple, the work which was going on earlier, now that has come to a grinding halt, kindly restart it. And he sent a copy of that letter to me also. But nothing happened. Nothing happened. So he has 85 murders, 250 kidnappings. And then he surrendered in 71, 32, and died at the age of 92. Next, please. And this is Malkhan Singh. Malkhan Singh was also, he did not kill many people, but he was, his industry was kidnapping. So he thrived on that kind of kidnapping industry. But in 1982, he also surrendered. And he is still alive. We are still in talk with him. Next, please. This is Pansing Thobar. Pansing Thobar was in the army. It's not audible. Oh, sorry. So, audible now? पीछे सुन सकते? And he was a Subedar also. And then he participated in the Asian Olympics also. Such a man, but later on he turned into a dacoit. I knew the person who had shot him dead. So the whole story starts from this moment. Because I knew that the place is very dangerous and it is infested with dacoits. But I wanted to take up the conservation work. So I asked my own people, what are the methods you have tried for it? So they said that we wanted to start the work, but we were not permitted by the dacoits. So their plan A did not work, that means. So if the plan A did not work, you should not be disappointed. You should take a plan B or plan C or plan D. So what is that B, C and D? I said that let us approach some of the police officers who had shot them dead. So if they can help us, that would be well and good, because they have got a lot of connection. So I went to a very big police officer. His name is Vijay Raman. His wife was working in the tourism department of Madhya Pradesh. So tourism and archaeology, that they go together. So I had enough access to her. Then I requested her to fix up a meeting. And I went to him, I told him, sir, this is my problem. So it was Vijay Raman who had shot him dead. And it was the same Vijay Raman who had shot dead Ghazi Baba. Who is Ghazi Baba? The same Pakistani terrorist who was the mastermind behind bombing our parliament house. So it was the same person. So I went to him and made a strange request. An archaeologist going to a big police officer and making a strange request that I should be given an opportunity to work in the area and you please speak to the dacoits. That was my request. So he understood my concern. He immediately, because he had many contracts, so he immediately contacted the people and said that Muhammad is my man. He is coming exclusively to conserve and preserve the temples, and he should be given all kinds of facilities, and I should not get any kind of objection from anybody. So that was one thing, and our thing started from there. And then there were certain surrendered dacoits at the site also, with whom I was directly in touch. And there was one more surrendered dacoit in Bhopal, because Bhopal was my headquarters. So he also came and helped, and he was in the Malkan Singh group. So, they gave me permission to go to the site and see the site first. And after seeing the site, then we'll take up the work. Next, please. This is Vijayaraman. Next, please. And this is when he had shot at Pan Singh Tomar. This is a file photograph when he shot at Pan Singh Tomar. It was an encounter for 14 hours. For 14 hours, right from this one, sunset up to the breaking of the day. Next, please. And you have Phulan Devi. She surrendered after this man, that is Pan Singh Tomar, was shot dead. All these people got a message that here are some police officers, they are going to shoot them one by one. So that message started from that Pan Singh Tomar. So it was, the same Vijayaraman who had prepared these people also. So he, on one single day, she had killed 20 people. Pan Singh Tomar. Sorry, this one, Phulan Devi. Next, please. So sometimes, if you are an archaeologist, your work is always either the exploration and excavation or conservation. And sometimes you will have to take up this kind of work also. You can't always choose the music the life plays for you. But you can choose how to dance to the tunes. So, we'll have to go sometimes beyond our brief. Our brief is that you go only up to this limit. But if you want to change the world, you have to go beyond beyond the brief also. And you should decide how you are going to dance to the tunes. Next, please. So if plan A does not work, don't be disappointed. The English alphabet have got many more words. So you can choose that one. So we should not be disappointed. That is how I am now still fighting for certain things in archaeological survey. Next, please. So when I went to this place, Pune, now they are settled in Pune after the attack. We had, this one photograph, and then we remembered about all those things. Next, please. So there should be a powerful driving force inside every human being. Once we are able to touch that one, then we can do miraculous work. Next, please. This was the most challenging person during my tenure. Because, this is Nirbhay Singh Gujjar, that is his name. He had a weakness for ladies because he was always surrounded by ladies. All others, they had a different kind of principles were there. They never used to attack ladies. They never used to kidnap them. But this person was completely different. So when things became beyond, beyond the government, then all the three governments, that is Madhya Pradesh, then Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh, they made a task force to eliminate these people. And then the operation started. So he was running from pillar to post. But he also gave me permission to work in that area because he was the most powerful person when I was working there. Next, please. Sometimes there will be fight between groups also. Next, please. Next, please. So after getting the permission, when I went to the site, I saw the site like this. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. See, that is creating the problem. So when I saw the site, it was like this. That is only one frame. Next, please. Now, see, things are just lying there like that one. Where I have written A, so where I have written, I know that there was a temple there. Why? Because archaeologists, they look at the very insignificant things. Because I saw that there is a step here. But the rest of the steps are there, not there. And where there was a Shrivelinga, that there, now you have a huge tree. Look at P. Steps are there, but the temple is not there, it is fallen down. C, the same thing. So it was for many, this one, it was just lying like that one. Next, please. Look at it. How things have fallen down. Now, very fortunately, if it was in some other place, all these stones would have been taken away by people. But because it was infested with dacoits, everything was preserved there in its pristine purity. Yeah. So that was a blessing in disguise for us. Very blessing in disguise. Because in everything, when we look at it straight, oh, it is a big problem. But if you look at the other way, it was a blessing in disguise. So now, next please. And then I gave an order, all these plantations and other things, that should be removed. I saw the site like this. Now this is a wonderful site for a photographer. He can take so many photographs and then he can publish it. It is a very good site for a journalist because he can write so many articles about it. But my mission is neither to take photograph nor to publish it, but to reconstruct this temple. From small pieces, you have to piece them together and make it a 1,200 years before temple. It should be, in 9th century and 10th century temple. You just cannot piece them together as you want. It should be as per Manasara, that is a temple treaty. It should be as per Mayamada, that is another temple treaty. It should be as per Samarangana Sutradhara. So that was my problem. So this one, you have to put a tongue in each and every stone and ask him the question, where were you when the temple was standing? And you have to take the temple to that particular position, that stone to that particular position. So that is the task of an archaeologist, which I am now going to do. If you ask them, is it possible? No, it is impossible. Sambhav? No, asambhav. But you have to make this impossible into possible. That is what I am going to do now. Next, please. It matters not how straight is the gate, how charged is the belt. You are the master of my faith, I am the master of my faith, and I am the captain of my soul. You have to behave it like that. Next, please. So from here we are going to take it. Next, please. An English person, he is known as Kevin Strange. He is a traveler, he is a publisher. When he saw this place, he said this is the biggest jigsaw puzzle he has seen in his life. Next, please. Just look at it. इतना टूटा हूँ मैं छूने से बिखर जाएंगे. I am so fragile that by the mere touch of my fingers, it may fall down. It is in such a poor condition. Next, please. So, winds and waves are always on the side of the ablest navigators, so you should be able to take up the challenge. Next, please. So, this Nirbhay Singh Gujjar and team, they said, of course you can take up it, but you take up this portion first. Let us see the whole thing, and then we will give you further permission. So it is just the beginning. So this is the place which I also wanted, because whenever we take up the work from the entrance gate of the temple. So I felt, because this is the entrance gate of the temple, because I saw this is the pillar base. This is the base of a pillar. And it is similarly because while we were excavating in Ayodhya also, it was a timber temple pillar base. There were many bases there at that time. So that had given us enough clue because there was a temple before this one, before the mosque. So simple, very, very simple clues would be there, and you will have to build upon those clues. So I saw this pillar base. Where is the pillar? You have it here. Pillar, lying down. And where is the phalaga over that one? That is here. And where is the topmost crowning, this one base? That is here. Now the question is, okay, you have one pillar, but for a gateway you have to have two pillars. That was the question. So we looked around, all around, we could not get anything. But then an archaeologist, he does not look up, because we also, if we are not getting any answer, we look at God. But archaeologist is, he looks upside down. He looks towards the earth. धरती माँ से पूछेंगे, माँ आपने कहाँ छुपा के रखा है? So then I took a small excavation here. I could get the other pillar base also. Next please. You can find the next pillar base here. Where is the pillar? Next please. Here you have got the pillar also. It is paved here, it is paved here also. Now, till this time, you are an archaeologist. Now you have to become a conservationist. You have to piece them together. Good like a surgeon, they say. Like the knee surgeon, you have to behave. So we said that you have to drill a hole into this one and join them with steel and araldite. Next please. Just look at it. Here you can see the surgical mark. Is it? We do not erase it. If we want, we can erase it. But we don't want to erase it because when the guide takes them from one place to a place, they should tell the story. And for enabling them to tell the story, we keep it alive, we don't erase it. Next please. And the next one is also there. And now, because these dacoits, they had given me only 4 months. They said that within 4 months, you have to finish it. So I was in a hurry, because you are at the point of gun. They say that you have to finish it within 4 months. So day and night we have to work. So this one, and then I had to 1, 2, 3, 4. All these 4 temples, they had to be documented first, bring them down, give a very strong foundation so that for the next 5,000 years nothing should happen to this temple, and then re-erect them as it was. So that is what exactly I did within 4 months. Next please. Just look at it. The temple which was fallen, the temple which was broken, the temple which was in so many fragments, that is now standing before you, और आपको नमस्कार कर रहे हैं. अच्छा, 4 months, because now it is time for the dacoits to come. Nirbhay Singh Gujjar, he came, and whenever they move, there will be a pilot party in front of them. That man came, देखा, मंजर बदला हुआ था. The whole thing has been completely transformed, and he told his master, that is Nirbhay Singh Gujjar, Sardar, ये तो चमत्कार का काम किया हुआ है. They have created wonders here. They have created miracles here. That was his immediate response. Sardar Nirbhay Singh Gujjar came. He looked at it. He was highly impressed by the whole thing. He said that ये तो चमत्कार का काम है. And he tried to smile also. But he could not smile because he had killed a number of people. So he could not smile, he could only smear. He could not smile. And then he said that this is chamatkar ka kaam. So that was a kind of certificate for me. Because now you can do your work very efficiently. You don't have any time bar now. Earlier he had imposed a time, but now there is no time bar. Now we can do the work. So most of this temple, they were Shiva temples also, Vishnu temples also, and Devi temples were also there. So Shiva would be having Jadamakuda, He would be having Charma Vastra also. Jadi, Charmi, Shikandi cha Sarvanga Sarvabhavana. Harischa Harinachascha Sarvabhuta Hara Prabhu. It is ultimately he who destroys everything. It is Shiva who destroys everything. Chachadam Shiva Machudam. If there is anything everlasting, that is only Lord Shiva. Next please. So you had seen it like this one. Now we have made it like this one. Next please. Just behind it there was another temple. The front portion had fallen down. Inside there was no Murti. So it is very difficult to say whether it is Shiva temple or Vishnu temple. So archaeologist has got his own ways of working at it. If we are not getting anything, we look at this place. That is known as Lalada Bimma. So Lalada Bimma, it was Ganeshji. Ganeshji of course is the son of Lord Shiva. But he is also known as Vigna Vinayaka. So he would be there in Vishnu temple also. So you just cannot much rely upon him. And now it's a big problem. It's a big problem. It's a big problem how to know. Then again, we work on very small clues. I looked at this thing. A small cleavage. For a non-archaeologist, it may look innocuous. But for an archaeologist, that is enough. How? Because it is rectangular. Rectangular means it is Nandistan. Stotra. Vahanam Vrishabho Yasya Vasuki Kandabhushanam Vame Shaktitaram Deva Vakaraya Namo Nama. I recited the mantra, took a pradakshina of the temple, looked towards the slopey side. There was a small, beautiful, cute Nandi looking at me as if he was waiting for me for the last 1,200 years. Very small, beautiful, cute Nandi. We took him ceremoniously and placed him in this one, and he was perfectly sitting. As if the dethroned king has regained his throne. He was perfectly sitting there. Next please. हमने मंदिर को ठीक ठाक कर दिया बिल्कुल. Now you might be asking where is Nandi? Wait please. Next please. Just look at his small room. Here also we have got a Nandi. So very beautiful cute Nandi, and he is looking at Lord Shiva in Kailasha. And he is listening to the Om which is coming from Kailash. What is Om? Om Tad Brahma, Om Tad Vayu, Om Tad Atma, Om Tad Satyam, Om Tad Sarva. So he is inhaling that one. So, and that is going into his mouth, and then it is coming through his ears. That is why, mostly because if you go to some of the old cities like Kanchipuram or Bradishara Kshetra, or even in Kanchi also, there, before going to Lord Shiva, mostly ladies, they take a circumambulation of Nandi so that they inhale that Om which is coming from him, and then only he can go to Lord Shiva, or he or she can go to Lord Shiva. That is the principle. Next please. So you had seen it like this, and we have made it like this one. Next please. These three temples, 1, 2, 3. All the parts are lying there, because here you can see the parts are lying there, the parts are lying here. And I am thankful to the dacoits again for this thing. Otherwise everything would have been stolen. Next please. हमने काम शुरू कर दिया इसके ऊपर. Next please. Just look at it. 3 beautiful temples. Next please. You saw it like this one, we made it like this. Next please. Next please. Another beautiful, just look at it again. It's very beautiful. It is a gem of this one, a carpenter's work. It looks so beautiful now. I call it divine in conception and sublime in execution. It's so beautiful. Next please. Next please. And when I walked over this area, the third eye of an archaeologist, that works. When I walked over this one, I said, below my shoe, I am going to get 4 temples. Then when I excavated this portion, next please, just look at it. I was walking over this one. Initially, I got these 3 temples, and then I conserved it. It became like this one. This is this one, and now it is like this. Next, please. So initially, in the earlier stage, we are not getting water because it's a barren land, and the dacoits were also not having water. They were also facing the water problem, but they have got a number of people. If they tell anybody, they would be bringing water for them. So I said that let us. This is a temple area. We would be getting this with some water source somewhere. I explored the entire area, and then I came to the conclusion that here we would be getting water. Next, please. And when I excavated this portion, even 1, 2, 3 temples also got, and I got copious amount of water also. Next, please. Next, please. And now you are going to get water out of this one. But it should not be any water. It should not be, especially it should not be chambal water. Because if you drink chambal water, even if it is, a very good person drink chambal water, he would turn into a dacoit. That is what is believed. So you have to, this water also, you have to change the quality of the water also. So before getting water, I said, let us invoke Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati. In Rigveda, this one, Nadi Sukta is there. Imam me Gange, Yamune, Saraswati, Shututri Somam, Sajata, Parushnaya, Asikne, Marubrade, Vidastaya. So we invoked all these things. Gange cha Yamune chaiva Godavari, Saraswati, Narmade, Sindhu Kaveri, Jales means Sannidhi Guru, because you should not be left out. So we invoked all these things, and then when we dug this area, next please, just look at this, copious amount of water. Copious amount of water. So when the dacoits saw this one, they said, Man changa hai to katoti mein Ganga. If your mind is pure, then Gangaji would come to your own doorstep. That is what exactly he done here. So by this time, many of the lower dacoits, there was a change in their mindset. They said that we wanted to leave the earlier work, we wanted to join. So many people started working with us now. And that was a kind of security point also for us. Next please, yes. Next please. And now, this temple, this tree has eaten away the whole temple. And his roots have gone through the ribs of the temple. As per the temple, this one, Agamas, you just cannot cut down a temple, this one, a tree like this one. But of course, for rescuing the temple, of course, you have the leverage, you can cut down. But even for that also, there are certain formalities, so you have to fulfill that formality. So first of all, you have to do Namaskar to the tree. Namaste Vriksho Kshamantu. You have to seek his pardon also. Namaste Vriksho Kshamantu. And then not only from the tree, you have to seek the permission of this one birds who would be roasting over that. And you have to tell them kindly migrate from this tree to some other habitable tree. Not any tree, to some other habitable tree. Namaste Vriksho Kshamantu. And then to the birds, Anyartha Vasam Parikalpayantu. Kindly migrate from this tree to some other habitable tree. So we took permission of both of them. And not only that, you have to take the permission of the insects also. There are small Kide Makude insects. You have to take the permission of them also. Unse bhi sab logon se permission le liya. And then when we cut down, the entire temple came down. And then we had to reconstruct it accordingly. Next please. There are many trees like this one. Many trees like this one. Next please. Then we started rebuilding it. Next please. अब यहाँ तक पहुँच गया है. Now you have to add only 3 more lines. Next please. यहाँ तक पहुँच गया. Next please. Just look at it. बहुत ही खूबसूरत 1200 years old temple. Min fresh temple जैसे लग रहा है. Next please. Next. And this temple again, all the fragments are there. Thankful to the dacoits, nothing is stolen from here. Everything is there. Next please. I started working on this one. Next please. यहाँ तक पहुँच गया. Huge temple. Next please. Just look at it. All the 3 temples. Next please. Next please. Next please. अब जरा ये what you are going to see is a real miracle. You will have to hold your breath now. And we saw the thing here. Only steps are there, but no temple. Steps are there, no temple. It can come down. I mean, now I had to remove this one. The trees also, I removed it. We made enough research work on the whole thing. Next, please. कुछ लोगों से पूछा क्या पॉसिबल है? लोगों ने कहा no, it is not possible. Now you have to make it impossible into possible. So a positive thinker, he sees the invisible, feels the intangible, and achieves the impossible. That is what Winston Churchill said. So similarly, you will have to work. Next, please. So I saw it again. When we remove the trees, we saw it like this. And now take a hard look at this photograph. And here, that is where it is written, I am going to make 6 temples out of this fragment. Just behind it, 8 temples. And here, 6 temples. So totally, 20 temples are now going to come up into life from its own ashes. You have heard about phoenix, a mythical bird which comes out of its own ashes. That might be a story. And I don't know whether you believe in Punarjanma or not. But you know, here you will have to believe in the Punarjanma of temples. So that kind of story we are going to narrate. Next, please. My people started working. Next, please. यहाँ एक तो मंदिर तो हमने बना दिया है. Every day you have to see it very closely. Next, please. अभी 2 मंदिर बन गया है. Next, please. You can just refresh your memory. You had seen it like this one. Out of this fragments, we have made 2 temples now. But you might be asking, I had promised you 6 temples. Where are the 6 temples? Now, again, wait, please. Next, please. Now you have the 3rd temple. 4th, please. Just look at it. The 4th one is also coming and saluting you. 5th, please. Just look at it. The 5th one is also there now. 6th one, please. Just look at it. The 6th one. All the 6 temples. And the stones that has gone into the creation of each temple, that is beautifully conceived, wonderfully executed, and they have been beautifully crafted also. And each crafted temple, the stone is crafted into second one into third one into 4th one, and then it has been brought into a very brilliant combination to make it an enchanting musical note. It is not a temple now, it is a musical note. It's a good, very composition. So all these 6 temples are now standing like that. Let us see the back side of the temple. Next, please. Next, please. Just look at the back side of the temple. Again, divine in conception and sublime in execution. Next, please. This must, the Englishman says, that this must go as one of the most sensitive archaeological projects in history. Not only in India, one of the most this one sensitive archaeological projects in history. That is what they will stay saying. Next please. So you had seen it again from here, this to this one. And now I had promised you 8 temples just behind it and 6 temples before this one, that is total 20. Next please. That also started coming up. Next please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now this portion you have to conserve. Next please. That is also conserved. And look at this man was a dacoit earlier. And now working with us peacefully. Not only he is happy, his whole family is happy. He passed away 2 years back. Now his son is working with us. So similarly, many of these people are dacoits. But now they are all temple makers. Next please. It has become so beautiful now that if the actual Lord Shiva and Parvati comes down to earth, they would prefer to spend few days here in my new Kailasha. It has become so beautiful, very beautiful now, temple groups. Next please. And if you excavate this portion, you will be getting many more temples. Similarly, the lower part of the area also, a number of temples are going to come. Next please. Again, just to enable you for the comparison. Next please. These 3 temples, next please. We have conserved it. Next please. Next please. Now there is because in every, there is with this one, temple groups now coming up on all the sides. Next please. If you are going to excavate this portion, you will be getting many more temples. All these are now, even now till today, nothing has been done. Here it is where I am going, because we expected a lot from the BJP and RSS government, because this is what I am showing you is up to 2010, and nothing has happened, because we all thought that when the BJP and RSS would come into power, they would support such a archaeological endeavor, but they did not. I tried my level first, since I had a lot of connection with BJP and RSS people also. I tried my level first, but nothing has happened. During the entire 9 years, not a single temple during the BJP period has been reconstructed. Not a single temple during the BJP period has been reconstructed. This is the sad state of affairs. That is what I told them, because I would be criticizing, I would be speaking. I will be speaking the truth. I am not bothered whether this one hurts RSS or BJP or I am not bothered. They will do puja here. With all the concentration, they will do all the puja. Sometimes it will be for 1 hour, sometimes it will be for 2 hours, they will be doing the puja. And when they come back with the booty, they distribute the whole thing in front of Hanumanji. Because there should not be any kind of injustice in distributing the booty also. But it is according to the grades only. Next please. Just look at this temple. All the parts are lying there. The government has just to give the funds, which they did not. So out of this one, I have made 8 temples out of these things. Next please. Here you can see. Next please. Again you can make a comparative study. It was this way and we have made it like this. Next please. And here only 1 temple was there, but just around it, we have 13 temples. Next please. You can see all these are mint fresh temples, but they were just lying down. They were just below the earth. So you can see all of them, 1, 2, 3. Only this was, from the color itself you can make it out. These things are reconstructed temples. Next. 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 So many of these lower level dacoits, they came into our group. They left their earlier dacoity, because all the 3 governments, that is the Madhya Pradesh government, then Rajasthan government and UP government, they had made a task force. They were gunning down the dacoits because they made some very tall claims. Nirbhay Singh Gujjar came. I am very close to this one UP Chief Minister Mulayam Singh Yadav. So whatever he says, I will accept it, and I should be, for surrendering, my term is that I should be given a helicopter. So I will flow down to that area and then I will surrender it. And if he says that, I will contest the election also. So because if you are a dacoit, it is very easy way to become an MLA or MP also. So that was what he said. So it was too much for the government. Then they made a task force. They started gunning down, and this person was running from pillar to post. He wanted to meet me. He sent so many feelers also, but I was not very sure how they would behave. So I was just trying to avoid it. You just cannot say, no, we will not meet you also, because then the next day you would be shot down by them. So I was just trying to avoid it. He understood it. So one day I was moving from temple to temple. When I reached this temple, I saw a man smoking. Next please. So this was this temple. So when I studied this in an archaeologist, he would make a study of the upper area first, surface area first. So I could realize that here I would be getting the stairs for going up, and the boundary wall would be there. So I got the entire boundary wall excavated and the steps for going up also. Next please. So this person was smoking. I became angry. I said, "Aapko sharam nahi aate, aap mandir mein bidi pee rahe hain." Of course, he was not within the temple. It was outside the temple, but it was within the premises. So मैंने पूछा, आपको शर्म नहीं आते, आप मंदिर में बीड़ी पी रहे? Because I did not know who he was. I made a mistake. So by that time, because the earlier surrendered dacoits, I used to keep them always with me, because if something goes wrong, they will be there to support. So उन लोगों ने आके मेरा हाथ पकड़ा, मुझसे कहा, सर उनसे कुछ मत कहिए, please don't speak anything to him. By that time, I realized my folly. What a great fool I am, because I was questioning the Lord of all, because he is the Lord of all the places. And I had seen his interview also in iTech channel. So you just cannot run away, because there are his people surrounding the whole area. I sat at his feet. There was no way. I sat at his feet and I told them, sir, because now you have to respect him, because you know who he is. I told him, sir, all these Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, all these gods and goddesses are in India in partition. It's only because of you. The entire credit goes to you. Otherwise, they would have been either in America or in Paris or in some other places. उनको वो बहुत अच्छा लगा. For the first time, somebody is genuinely appreciating his work. तो उनको बहुत अच्छा लगा. तो फिर मैंने कहा, बाद में भी, इसके बाद भी the police cannot help us. The collector cannot help us. The SP cannot help us. It's only you who will be able to help us in this way. And फिर मैंने एक और चीज़ कहा उनसे, ईश्वर ने कुछ सोच समझ के आपको यहाँ भेजा. ईश्वर ने कुछ सोच समझ के आपको यहाँ भेजा. So he became curious. वो क्या है सोच समझ के ईश्वर ने भेजा है? तो मैंने उनसे कहा, इसमें आपके जीवन का एक बहुत बड़ा रहस्य है. वो रहस्य क्या है? What is the secret of your life? It is not that you are a dacoit now. That is not the secret of your life. Your secret of life is something much, much bigger than this one. He became further curious. वो बताइए क्या है करके. So then I said, all these temples, they have been constructed by a very powerful dynasty in 8th and 9th century AD. And the name of that dynasty is Gujjar Pratihara dynasty. Gujjar Pratihara dynasty, they have constructed not only temples here, they have constructed in Rajasthan also, because they were ruling Rajasthan area also, they were ruling Madhya Pradesh area, and they were ruling Uttaranchal area, Uttarakhand area also they were ruling. And similar temples, the same dynasty has made in Uttaranchal also. And in Gujarat also they have got the same kind of things. And then I told him, you belong to that illustrious family because your name is Nirbhay Singh Gujjar and it was made by that Gujjar Pratihara dynasty. तो जब उन्होंने ये समझ गया कि because he belongs to that great family of Gujjars who had once ruled the country and now he's a poor dacoit. Then that was because he was blown off his feet. He was blown off his feet. I mean, he could not realize, he could not understand that he belongs to that illustrious family who had once ruled the country. And that was a defining moment in his life. Now he cannot go back also. Because he had earlier 80 people were there, 80 dacoits were there. Now it has been reduced to only 6-7 people. He was running from pillar to post. And he said that I would be shot at any day. And within 1 month of my meeting him, he was shot at in Uttar Pradesh. Because in Uttar Pradesh, police was waiting for him. Next please. So I had seen it like this one. You just see. Any moment it can fall down. Any moment it can fall down. Next please. So he was sitting here. And I had to sit here. Because I had to maintain this one also, the hierarchy also. He is a top dacoit. So now I am a beggar in front of him. Next please. Once we got further permission from him, then we started doing the completion of the work in a very hectic way. Next please. This is a dacoit. Next please. This is a dacoit. This one Singh Gujjar, it is his name. Next please. कंपल का कंस्ट्रक्शन शुरू कर दिया. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. एंड गर्भगृह भी हमने, ये गर्भगृह इसी तरीके से फॉलन था, उसको हमने जोड़ा यहाँ. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. अब नाउ उसके जो ना मंडपा है, द वर्क ऑफ मंडपा इज गोइंग ऑन. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. रूफ भी बना दिया इसका. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. एंड नाउ द ग्रेट द वॉल ऑल अराउंड कंपाउंड वॉल. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. ये भी बन गया. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. अब ये तो ना, because generally if it is broken people throw away, but we don't. We join them together. We join everything together except the broken hearts. Except the broken hearts, we join them everything together. Next please. And now Lord Shiva is very happy. He might be angry against Muhammad Ghazni, Muhammad Ghori, who had destroyed our temples, but he is happy with KK Muhammad. And Lord is now ready to marry also. Earlier his house was not in order. It had fallen away. So he was not ready to marry, but now he is ready to marry because his house is in order. It has been refurbished. So if you are marrying, you have to have children also. Ekadantam Chadurbahu Gajabaktram Mahodaram Siddhi Buddhi Samayuktam Moshigarudam. If there is any God who has got both Siddhi and Buddhi, that is Ganapati. And that is why we worship him for prosperity. And he was not happy by seeing himself. He wanted to show his wife also. Shakti Ganapati. तो इस तरीके से बहुत सारे मूर्तियाँ मिले हम लोगों को. Now all of them, I have this one displayed it in Gwalior Museum. Next please. ये यशोधरा सिंधिया है जो फॉर्मर राजस्थान चीफ मिनिस्टर की जो छोटी बहन है. He was helping us a lot. So one day madam called me and said, Muhammad, you have been doing a lot of work. I heard about all these things. And you have not taken me to that place. So I said that, madam, I could not take you because earlier it was infested with dacoits. So with all your security, sometimes if it goes against it, I will be held responsible. But now all of them have been shot dead. There is no problem. By 2008, many of the groups, because I was working from 2004 onwards, by 2008, many of the groups have been shot dead. Now there is no fear. So she came, she saw. And she was the tourism minister. She asked me, what do you need from my side? So I said that there is no road to this place. So if you can give, very efficient minister she was. Not like many other BJP ministers, very efficient minister. And she immediately gave orders also. And then she said that you had to look after this one. You had to supervise the whole thing. Next please. A very efficient minister. You don't find many efficient ministers like this one. And I could speak to him directly. He used to ring up me directly, not with other people. So that is the quality, kind of quality of the ministers you want. Next please. So you had seen the whole temple groups like this one. एंड हमने उससे क्या बनाया? नेक्स्ट प्लीज. It is now there is a traffic jam of temples. जो impossible लग रहा था उसको हम लोगों ने possible बनाया. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. एंड मैंने अभी तक एक ब्यूटीफुल गार्डन भी, बहुत अच्छा गार्डन जो है ना, इट इज ऑलमोस्ट 1 किलोमीटर एरिया, जो एक ब्यूटीफुल गार्डन भी. ये जो टेम्पल आपने देखा था वो यहाँ है और दिस इज द कॉम्प्लेक्स, हॉल कॉम्प्लेक्स. लेकिन अब भी 120 टेम्पल्स बचा. तो आई वॉज एक्सपेक्टिंग ए लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स, लॉट ऑफ हेल्प एंड सपोर्ट फ्रॉम द बीजेपी. लेकिन God has not illuminated, Lord Shiva has not illuminated the mind of BJP and RSS, but God has illuminated the mind of a Muslim. Like Kalimullah Sahab जो हमारे साथ है यहाँ, कलीमुल्लाह साहब तो यहाँ है. I think he is reconstructing. अच्छा जी अभी क्या रहे? अच्छा ठीक है. Thank you. Next please. Next please. तो आपने इसी तरीके से देखा था. Next please. When you have the right goal and the passion for accomplishing it to the point of madness, you have to be थोड़ा सा पागल होना पड़ेगा इन सब चीज़ों का करने के लिए. अब ordinary आदमी, if you think about the pros and cons of it, you may not be able to do it. And to the point of madness, the whole world will conspire to make you successful. अगर आप इस तरीके से काम जो ना थोड़ा सा दीवाना बनेंगे तो फिर जो ना पूरा दुनिया जो ना आपके पीछे हो जाएगा, आपको सक्सेसफुल बनने. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. तो अभी नाउ इट लुक्स लाइक दिस वन. Fabulous temple. But remember 120 temples are still now there. Next please. So why do I do such passionate and sometimes challenging and risky temples? Because I have the realization that my ancestors, that is Muslim, Muhammad Ghazali, Muhammad Ghori, they had destroyed a number of temples. They had killed, massacred the people. And I had to do a prayaschitta for their sins. That is why I am so much passionate about all these things. And I really accept they had done a mistake. I am not like communist historian who are going to justify all these things. I am not like that one. I accept they had done a lot of mistakes. And God has given me an opportunity to sincerely repent for that one, for that action of my ancestors. And that is why I am so passionate about my temples. I think Kalimullah Sahib, behind your mind also there will be something like this one. Yes. You have reconstructed 4 temples? 4 temples now. Next please. So this was our supporter, that is Nirvay Singh Gujjar. Of course he was a dacoit, he had killed a number of people. He had raped a number of ladies and he had more than 4 or 5 wives also. But that is apart. When he realized, he changed his mindset. Next please. And as suspected, he said within 1 month, within 1 month of my meeting, he was shot dead. Next please. And only now his younger brother was there, that is Pappu Gujjar. If they kidnap a small school teacher, primary school teacher, they used to take 15 to 20 lakhs of rupees for releasing them. Next please. And then as long as he was there, the mining mafia were afraid of coming to that area. Because if the mining area would come, or if the mining party would come, they would kidnap them. So they were afraid of coming to that area. But once it became very clear, they have been shot dead, the mining party came. They started rampant mining. My temple started developing crack and coming down. I wrote to so many forest officers, to the collector, to the SP, and there was a minister behind. He was a BJP minister. The minister behind it, his name is Lakshmikant Sharma. I went and told him, sir, this is happening. I wrote a letter to him. So मैंने उससे कहा, मोहम्मद जी आपका वो लेटर मुझे नहीं मिला. Then I wrote a second letter, went to him. मोहम्मद जी आपका वो लेटर नहीं मिला. And now he was behind the bar. This minister was behind the bar in another case that is known as Vyapam case, in which 47 people have been killed. And he passed away also. So I knew many BJP people were behind this mining. Next please. Next, please. Then I did something which I should not have done as a government servant. I wrote a very a strong letter to Sudarshan ji. Sudarshan ji was the RSS chief at that time. And BJP was being ruled by, Madhya Pradesh was being ruled by BJP government. So I said that you speak that the temple should be conserved and preserved, and you stand for Ayodhya temple also. And here we have been able to conserve this much of temple. Your party is now ruling ruling Madhya Pradesh, and because of the mining activity, which is being encouraged by some of your own people, now my temples are, conserved temples are coming down. That was a very harsh letter to such a great dignity. But the greatness of the man is that he took immediate action. He pulled up the chief minister. The next day, police was rushed to the area. But the mining party was also equally powerful. There was an exchange of fire. Normally, nobody fires at the collector and SP. And this SP was a very powerful officer also. And he had liquidated so many other dacoits group. So, but they fired at them also. And at last, of course, the police was able to curb them down. Next, please. So when I wrote this letter, Ambika Soni was our minister, culture minister. She wrote a letter to Shivraj Singh Chauhan, who was, and he is the chief minister even now also, that law and order is under you, you have to give all protection to Archaeological Survey of India. Of course, now he has taken action. Next, please. So he wrote back, yes, earlier it was going on, and we had taken action against those parties, but the last line, the last sentence, it was against me. A chief minister was requesting to a central cabinet minister, you take action against this man who wrote a letter to Sudarshan ji. So, as per the rules, as per the protocol. Yes. I am leaving the issue of the priority of propriety of some of the correspondence that the superintending archaeologist has indulged in, and also his conduct of addressing the press for your kind judgment. That is a concealed way of saying that you take action against this person who wrote a letter to Sudarshan. So now your future is sealed. As a government servant, you should not have shown the madness of writing this letter. You should not have shown the madness of conserving this temple also. But now see, my grievance against Lord Shiva was that I had gone into that area, forbidden area, and reconstructed many of your temples. And now, is it the reward which you are going to shower upon your own devotee? That was my grievance against Lord Shiva. Because everything is now sealed. Because when a chief minister writes a letter to a central minister, as per the rules, you have to take action against him. Next, please. But tough time never lasts. But tough person, they survive all the odds and obstacles. So, if there are certain problems, you have to face it. You have to be ready to face the issue. Next, please. Sometimes it takes an overwhelming breakdown to have an undeniable breakthrough. So by that time, Lord Shiva had acted through some other people. Because the press person, the entire press was with me. All the entire channels were with me. They were supporting me. They went to Ambika Soni. And they said that this man has done the impossible task. And now, are you going to take action? So she said, no, if a chief minister writes a letter, then we will have to take action. What to do? So they said, no, have you seen the kind of work which he has done? Then as she came down, she said, okay, let me issue a show cause notice. They issued a show cause notice to me, and I replied for it also. And it is IBN 7. Next, please. Sometimes, you cannot change the direction of the wind, but you can adjust your own sails to always reach your destination. Next, please. So all the people, press people, dacoit, self-preserve, Marina temple. Next, please. Temple saves, CM, Chief Chief Minister tell Ambika Soni, but Mohammed may face heat. Ab meri bari hai. Next, please. Now, Bateshwar has become so beautiful. This is once upon a time the SPs and collectors, they were afraid of going there. They were all those people who were posted there, they were invited and they were shown this temple. How marvelous temples have come up. Next, please. Now, the number of students are going to the area. They are making studies. Now it has become a hot tourist spot. Next, please. You can see they are all from Delhi students. Next, please. Bateshwar Mandir ke Shingara par pahunche Delhi school ke chhat. This is all dacoits. We took the all dacoits also. This is Malkhan Singh. Next, please. They were all. This is the team of this one Netherlands ki team hai, the hockey team. They had won the Olympics. They went to the side. Next, please. They had won the Olympics in 2012. Next, please. Restored glory. It is frontline report. Malve mein mandiron ka khajana. It is Dainik Bhaskar. Next, please. ASI turns to RSS, gets help, wanted illegal mining to be stopped near Bateshwar temples. Next, please. Illegal miners fired at collector and SP. See what an audacious group. They fired at the collector and SP also. Next, please. And then what is a poor superintending archaeologist for them? My life was saved because, I had a number of dacoits. Because dacoits know what kind of work, what kind of contribution I have made for the temples. If something had happened to me, they would in turn kill not only the person who had killed me, but they would wipe out the entire family. So because of that, I was saved, but many people were not as lucky as me, a young IPS officer, a very young IPS officer who was only 30, 31. He was crushed to death by an illegally mined tractor. He was crushed to death. Very young officer. Next, please. मोहम्मद ने क्यों लिखा सुदर्शन को खत? CM ने उठाए ऐसे अधीक्षक पर सवाल. My way of working, that was questioned by the Chief Minister. Next, please. IPS. This young IPS officer, I had not met him because by that time I was transferred to Delhi. I had not met him, and when I saw his dead body going and his wife crying over his dead body, I felt I should have been the first person, and he would have been 2, 3, or 4, because they were all, thirsting for our blood also. Bedam Banduk Behav Mafia. You in every house you will be having this one. The guns would be there, both legal and illegal. In this one, more than 30,000 licensed guns are there in each district. Next, please. For this, I got SARC International Award. Next, please. This was given by Gulzar Saab. Next, please. This one, Chief Election Officer. It is this one from Madras. Next, please. Later on, the Chief Minister also realized his mistake. He gave an award to me, but I could not go because I had to receive the French Prime Minister, the French Prime Minister in Qutub Minar. So by that time I was in Delhi. So my wife went and received it. Next, please. This is Mohar Singh. Mohar Singh, he wrote a letter to Honorable Prime Minister. Nothing happened. Next, please. This is that letter. He sent a copy of the letter to me also. Next, please. Then I was not getting any help from anybody. Neither BJP was interested nor RSS was interested. They were also, if the election is there, they will all come. Otherwise, you won't see them. Then finally, one day I received a call from a very big industrialist, and Madam spoke to me. This is, as you all know, this is Sudha Narayan Murthy, Madam, from Infosys. Madam said, Mohammed, I have been hearing a lot about your work. I would like to go to the place along with you, see the whole thing. And on 2019, in the month of February, I took Madam and She was, this is her younger sister, Sujata, and another sister. And the whole Akshayanagar of America, this is being run by this one, her brother-in-law. So they were there, the whole team was there. I showed her all around what was the condition of the monuments earlier and what we have made. Madam was highly impressed, and Madam is not only this industrialist, but about art and architecture, and also the iconography. Madam knows very well, and Madam was very highly impressed. And then next please. This is again wanted to see everything, how things were going on. Next please. And she was mesmerized by the kind of work we have done. And when you look at old photography and the new photography, and the old temples and the new temples, what kind of transformation we had effected. He was interested in that one, not getting any help from the BJP government, and then we sat for our food in the, for a simple village food. Next please. Going to various places, admiring this thing, and we sat for our food there, and there was a very important question she asked me. If I wanted to support your cause, which temple would you like me to take up? And Madam said that ASI has to do the work, we will give the financial support. So I said, of course, it's very, very welcome, because we are not getting any help from anybody. It should have been ideally taken up by the Archaeological Survey of India itself, but they have got wrong priorities, because they would be spending sometimes lakhs of rupees on in unwanted places, and they would be spending lakhs of rupees on toilets. For example, if you go to Delhi, there is a place known as Tughlakabad, where very few people go. There they have got constructed 2 toilets of 90 lakhs. And for 90 lakhs, you will be getting a 3-bedroom flat. I don't know what is the cost of in Hyderabad, this one, Bangalore, but in Delhi, in Noida, you will be getting a 3-bedroom flat. And they were spending, because they can make money out of that one. So they were wrongly spending the money in wrong places. So Madam then said, okay, you can take up this work, I'll be supporting you. By that time, COVID came. Then I spoke to Madam again, because if you are interested, and we can work out through National Culture Fund. So there is a fund known as National Culture Fund, in which the donor can deposit the amount, and ASI can take up the work. So Madam told me, I have to, because of the COVID, I had to divert the entire money for COVID. Then again I pleaded, if it is possible, because now a very good officer has come up in the National Culture Fund. You can take up, you can do that work. And Madam then again, of course, supported. Next please. This is another temple. Any moment it can fall. You just give some support, things would be all right. And it is very easy for Government of India, instead of making this one toilets in unwanted places, just to help contractors, not for anything. You just cannot expect such a thing, from a BJP government. At least I did not. Next, please. So this temple, Infosys has taken up, and within 1 more month I would be able to finish this work at a much lower cost than estimated earlier. Next. इसके पहले वाला. This is like this one. इतना टूटा हमें छूने से बिखर जाएंगे. Next please. It was like this one. Next please. Next please. Now the reconstruction work. This is when it was half completed. Next please. Now it is going up. Conservation work is going up. Next please. It has come up to this level now. Next please. It has now come up to only 3 more radda, that is within 1 month we are going to finish this work also and the lower work also. Next please. This is the story of Bateshwar. Along with that, I would like to show you some slum schools. What is the time?
12:25, but time doesn't matter.
Acha, time doesn't matter. Acha. All of you agree?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. This is because and as an archaeological officer, you can do a lot of work. But the laborers were coming from Bihar, Bengal, from Bihar, and many other UP, and they were coming along with their children. Children of sometimes 1 year old, sometimes 2 year old. They were not having any schools to go. So what I did is, myself and my wife, when we made a tended schools at various places, wherever they were staying, there we'll make a tended school. There will be a school teacher, and there will be, you give them uniforms and other food also. So that is what I was doing. Next, please. So this is one school. Simply, sometimes it would be an open school. Next, please. This is in Tughlakabad. Just give them few things. You would be losing few thousands of rupees. Give them an opportunity to play. Next, please. This is for Tughlakabad again. Tughlakabad, Adilabad, Qutub Minar. There was a school in Redford. There was another school. So my wife, she was looking after the entire thing. And Kambal, I used to get it for 100 rupees. The original cost was 200 rupees, but I used to get for 100 rupees. Next, please. And then there was a request from their parents. Children are learning. Like we are not having any opportunity because they don't know how to count notes also, except 10, 15, this one. So I told them, they told me that, they can study in the evening, but they have to prepare food during that time. So I said that we'll provide you food, don't worry. And just look at it, how ladies are coming and learning. They have learned Hindi and now they are learning English. With children in there now, 1 year old and 2 year old, they are learning. Next, please. And many people in Delhi, they join with me. Next, please. This is from an English group, and he's an Indian, and he's married to this one English lady. They contributed. Next, please. Donated. I said that you don't give me money, you give it in kind, so that whatever things are. This is Mr. Pavan Jain, and it was he used to supply us our this one compulse and other things. Next, please. You can change the life of these people. Without converting into any religion, you can change the life of these people. Next. I got a Citizen Journalist Award for this one. People often come, they think, Archaeological Survey of India is not doing any work at all, so they would come sometimes to criticize Archaeological Survey of India. So when they came at this place, they see not only the work is going on very well, and apart from that, we are running this kind of schools also. So they were impressed. So this Citizen Journalist Award was given to me, and the award itself was, of course, this one very important. But it was given to me by a person who was much taller than me. So because of that, it became a hit. Next, please. That was this person. Next, please. So, and now, because of him, it became a news in Delhi, and another person who is more important than him, he wanted to see and he wanted to meet this kid. Who was he? This man. Both American President Obama and Mrs. Obama, they had a lot of questions, especially about Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad and any other things. Normally, I cannot be in between them. That is as per the protocol. I cannot be in between them. I shall have to be either on the side, this side, or the left side. But they had so many number of questions about Bhagavad Gita, and especially about Upanishads. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinam, Sarve Santu Niramya, Sarve. All these things, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, they had a lot of questions. And they placed me in between, because sometimes Madam would be asking questions, sometimes he would be asking questions. So it was a wonderful interaction also. And when he reached that students, my school children, and he was the happiest man. Next, please. Just look at the way he is sitting. American President is sitting. He had a lot of questions about the children also. Next, please. and he had brought special gift to give it to them. When he gave me a gift, it was not given to me directly. It was given to the protocol officer at the protocol officer. But here, he is distributing the gift by himself and by Mrs. Michelle also. Next, please. And look at this child, a slum school child. It was he who had received him. Welcome, Mrs. and Mr. Obama, he said. So Obama was highly impressed by this boy. So he asked, what is your name? He said, my name is Vishal. And that impressed him. It was in 2010. In 2015 again he came to India. So just by that time I had retired in 2012. So then, but even then American embassy, they rang up me and told me that President of America during his next visit, he is looking for Vishal. The same boy who had received him in Humayun's tomb, he is looking for him. So by that time, I had just given a push to this boy. He was now studying in St. Columbus School in Delhi. That is a marvelous thing, because if we are giving a simple push to these people without converting to any particular religion and another thing, just on human concentration, they will make their own ways. So then the next meeting, next please. The same boy is meeting Mrs. Michelle. Next please. And then when I went for a lecture to Delhi, I called this boy also. It was a huge meeting of near about 400 people. And I introduced this person, the child, as an inspiring person. These are the type of people whom we wanted to develop. Next please. And why did he not forget this thing past? Because he had such a past. Obama, he did not forget it. And in Delhi, next please. This is why I am speaking about this one. It is again to improve certain things. In Delhi, if a person comes, either from America or from Europe, short of time. Yes. If a man comes from Delhi or from other places, so he would be first of all going to Qutub Minar, next Humayun's tomb, next Lal Killa. So they will go with a wrong impression, this old Mughal monument in India. And then next day they would be going to Taj Mahal, Agra Fort, Fatehpur Sikri. Again the same thing. Then if they go to this other place, the third place, that is this one, Rajasthan, Jaipur, it is essentially the same Mughal monuments. So they go with a wrong impression. Many people complained about this to me also. So what I did is, there was a place in Delhi that is just behind City Fort Auditorium. There I made a museum of children's museum it would be, but at the same time, I told Ambika Soni ji that we can make it a replica museum, so that the best pieces of that is the masterpieces of Indian art. For example, we can have it from Hampi, the Ugra Narasimha of Hampi, then the Trimurti of Elephanta. Similarly, all those best pieces of Indian art, which is not represented in Delhi, all of that we can have the replicas. And I made these replicas also even without any kind of estimates and other thing. By saving amount, I made this thing in Delhi. Next please. This is one piece, at the time of crucifixion of Jesus Christ, Mary, Mother Mary was not there. But here the artist has shown that even she was here, and the blood is trickling down into the eyes of Mother Mary. So this is a piece from Goa. So I liked it very much. I made a replica of this one. Next please. This is the Krishna lifting Govardhan, we know. This is in Mahabalipuram. A man working in Delhi, in other places, Delhi and other places, he would not be able to see. So I made the replica of the same thing in Delhi. Next please. This is Varaha, one of the most beautiful pieces of Varaha. We know that Malsi Purma Varahasya Narsinghi Vamanatide Ramo Ramas. So this is one of the most beautiful pieces of Varaha Udhara. Next please. This is Fasting Buddha. This is in Lahore Museum. I made a replica of the same thing. Next please. Then this is Preaching Buddha. Next please, this is in Sarnath. Ravana shaking Kailash. Next please, this is from Ellora. And this is one of the most beautiful lady figure. It is known as Shalabanjika. Gyaraspur Shalabanjika. It looks, her knee, about her smile. It is said, ye katilana muskurahat hai. And look at her dress, as if she is going to participate in a fashion show in Paris. So beautiful. Next please. Trivikram Avatar. This is also from Mahabalipuram. Next please. Mahishasura Nirna Shavidatri Varde Nama Rupam Devi Jayam Devi Yashode Mahabalipuram. Next please. This is Yachi in Bihar, one of the most beautiful, earliest Yachi. She has travelled all over the world. Next please. This is again the first Shivalinga. Shiva is coming out of the Shivalinga. This is from Andhra Pradesh. Next please. This is the Yoga Patta Narasimha. It is your own, this one. If a person from Delhi or from Europe wanted to see, they can see it. They don't have to come to this place. They can see the same thing there in Delhi. Next please. Yeah. Again, it belongs to you people. Gomteshwar. Next please. And this is an Albudha Shiva. You might have seen different type of Shiva. Earlier people said it is Rudra Shiva. Shiva in his terrific form. I said it is Pashupati Shiva. Just look at his turban. It is made out of Vasuki. It is made out of Vasuki, the coils of Vasuki, and this one, hood of Vasuki. And ears, that is this portion, that is ear. That is made out of this peacocks. And this is the nose portion. That is a descending chipkali. A lizard that is running down. And eyes, this is frog's eyes. Mustache, these are the two fishes. And chin, that is a crab. And eyes are coming out of the crocodile mouth. And his private part, this is a moving tortoise. And legs, elephant legs. And there are, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So Lord Shiva is declaring, I am not simply Pashupati, I am not simply Rudra Shiva, I am the entire universe. I am the entire planet. That is what he is thinking. So this is a wonderful piece. I have seen it in this one, Chhattisgarh, so I made it this one. इसी तरीके से बहुत सारे को बना दिया. So at that time there was a secretary. He commented, this is a BJP idea. I told him, now he is in a very important position. I don't want to take his name. I said, sir, for me it is neither BJP nor Congress. It is an Indian idea, I told him. And when I told him this one, then Sheila Dixit madam was the chief minister. She was ready to inaugurate it also. But they told me, don't get it inaugurated, but you can throw it open. So many people, many students were coming to this place. They wanted to see the whole thing. Because without making a tour of the whole country, you can see everything from here. The students were, it was very good for the students. And but when the BJP came into power, not a single RSS person, not a single BJP person has visited the place. This you just cannot imagine. They say that we stand for the great culture, glorious civilization. गौरवशाली इतिहास की बात करते हैं. But when it comes to that one, they don't do anything at all. Our archaeological survey of India, it is now almost like a standing boat on a standing wall. It is neither moving, it is neither doing anything. That is during the BJP period. Not a single person came, and then for 3 years it was closed also. Then I made a lot of noise and lot of hue and cry, and now last month it was again open. Yesterday I had again a discussion with a very top RSS person. So he assured me that he would be going along with some other RSS person. I don't know whether they would go or not, but at least they had assured me. That is the case. That is the poor performance of BJP and RSS. If you know anybody, please kindly take up all these things. Take up with a copy of my this one speech also, because I have been giving this kind of things, to various various channels also, and they know it very well. Next, please. Next, please. You have number of things like this one. Next, please. So, next, please. Next, please. ये अनंत शेषाई विष्णु है, and now Delhi government is doing it. Our BJP government is not, but the Delhi government is doing. I am in front of Nalanda, a replica of Nalanda. This is not my work. They took inspiration, but God did not illumine the mind of BJP and RSS. But this, ये मध्य प्रदेश की टेम्पल है, कंडरिया महादेव टेम्पल खजुराहो का. Next, please. Many temples now they are making out of scraps. Discarded scrap they are reusing it. But that did not, this one open the mind of the BJP. Next, please. Next, please. Vivekananda, many, this one, they had taken all inspiration for them. Many such things are coming up. Next, please. Sanchi Stupa. Next, please. All this one. And now for the award for the first tourist friendly. Next, please. This I'll just pass through. Next, please. It was an award for doing the work in this one, Sanchi, Madhya Pradesh. This was for Delhi monuments. Next, please. Again, Delhi monuments. Next, Delhi monuments. And next, please. Next, please. And the ultimate was this one. Thank you all. Thank you very much for giving a very patient hearing. And I am really thankful to you for giving this patient hearing.
We are all overwhelmed with joy when jigsaw puzzles were, modified and transformed into divine temples. It's not only the transformation of temples, Hindu culture. It was really remarkable, Journalism.